Welcome to the Team Up Now podcast. So this podcast is called Outsourcing That Cares, and that's going to become super evident as we continue this episode, but all episodes in this season. So we've got 10 episodes this season, and we've got some great guests coming up. But today it's just me, Julius, and my co-founder, Eiza. Say hi, Eiza.
Hi, everyone.
So I'm based in Melbourne, Australia, and Eiza's based, where are you based?
I'm based in Cebu, Philippines.
Obviously, we both run Team Up Now, which is an outsourcing business. And as you just heard, we're in different places. So, Eiza, why don't you tell the story of how you got into the outsourcing world to start off with?
Yeah, so I didn't stumble upon outsourcing. I actually lived through it. So I started my outsourcing journey working in a big corporate outsourcing companies here in the Philippines. You know, the kind of high-rise offices, punch cards, and metrics that mattered more than people. It paid a bill. It was great. I thought it was the best. Yeah, I thought it was the best job that I can get after graduation. It was one of the most highly paid jobs in the Philippines back in the days. But then something always felt off. Coming to the office in the beginning, I was very I'd say I was very motivated going to work. I was very excited going to work. I loved learning new things, and especially in this industry. By the way, I'm a nurse by profession, so working in outsourcing industry is entirely a different thing for me. But outsourcing was exciting in the beginning, and then one day, I just woke up. All of a sudden, I don't feel like going to work. Because I've been there for a few months and I started to see things very differently. It felt like it felt like we are robots, like we're just like working for these people, and they didn't like have anything that would support growth for us. Like I was stuck there for a few months and not knowing what's the next step of my career will be. Yeah, so when I discovered freelancing, I thought I found my freedom. So my first client offered me $2 an hour.
$2.
Yes, I know. I know exactly what's in your mind, Jewel. Yeah, it was $2 an hour, and I said yes to the job. And I know it wasn't what I should be being paid for, but I earned more than what I was earning in the corporate. So during that time, I thought it was like a big win for me. But I didn't know my worth yet. So one day, one of my clients in my freelancing career, he actually sort of like, he saw my potential, he saw my worth, and he started like talking me, into doing like my own business.
Yeah.
And so, a few months later, I actually did register my own business. I had it for 5 years. I hired people, I trained people, we delivered, and I tried to do it all by myself. And and then one day I just woke up and I realized like, no, I don't want to do this alone anymore. And so, in 2019, something happened. Then I had to close the business.
So my experience with outsourcing is that previously in my work, I was working in accounting firms, and one of the accounting firms I worked with, they did outsourcing to India, and I saw it as this very low cost, low quality service, where when the information came back onshore, more often than not, you had to redo it entirely. So I always had like a very poor experience with outsourcing until I needed bookkeepers and accountants myself, because I went from working in an accounting firm, and then during COVID in 2020, I decided to go out on my own. And I went from like having accountants and everything that like I worked with, bookkeepers, accountants, to having just myself. And anyone that knows me, I'm the laziest person with spreadsheets. I love doing other things. I love leading people. I love doing like many things, but spreadsheets is not one of them. So I needed someone to help me with that. So I actually hired a staff member that used to work in one of my former clients. They actually worked in an outsourcing company. And that outsourcing company, obviously them being a bookkeeper, they get to see the invoice that the client is paying, and they also know how much they're taking home. And they saw how big that difference was, and it just didn't make sense for them to work for that client anymore. But I had a really great relationship with that bookkeeper. So I paid her what she was worth, which was still much cheaper than what what you would pay for someone of a similar standard in Australia. But we worked out a fair deal, and we started working together. And it really showed me the power of outsourcing, where you can find amazing talent overseas and still pay them a living wage or more than a living wage. So they're still getting paid more than what it costs to live in that country. But it is more economical than hiring onshore in Australia. So that's how I got into outsourcing. In terms of how I started Team Up Now.
How did you find your first outsourced staff?
After I hired that amazing staff member, her name's Hazel, by the way, she's still around with us today. So I actually, because I'd met her before when she was working with another company, I knew of her, and then I just randomly found her on Upwork, which is a freelancing platform. It's something that we sometimes still use today, but it's like finding a needle in the haystack. Like, it's so difficult to work out who is a great staff member and who's not. And AI has kind of like made it even harder. Like, you read a resume these days on Upwork, and they all read exactly the same. And it's because they just take the job ad, put it into ChatGPT, and then use exactly the same prompt, which is create a cover letter and a resume that matches this job ad. And that's like all they do. If they showed a little bit of creativity, it would be great. But you get to read like 50 of the same.
True.
So I originally found her on Upwork, which is really difficult. Like, no other staff member that we have is from Upwork.
So what did you do next?
So because I'd found this amazing staff member, and I knew it was really difficult to find on Upwork, I actually started the company, and it just sat there for ages. But because I was doing other things where I was actually gaining clients, it started to grow on its own. So this is back in 2020. It wasn't until last year, 2024, that I actually started going full time into the business and really starting to grow it. And that's how we met. So I'm really happy that I did start it. But when I did start it, I knew that there was two things I knew. One, you can find amazing talent in the Philippines, but it's hard because there's so many candidates. And then secondly, the way that people were being treated in the outsourcing world wasn't right. And that were the two things that I knew back then, but I didn't really know what to do with it, but I knew that I wanted to do something with it.
And Jewel, I'm really curious, how did you come up with a name, Team Up Now?
So when I came up with the name, it was because I saw it as like, I'm very team orientated, right? Like it's something that's always been in me, is that working together is something that I love doing. And I think things should happen straight away. You know that
I know.
we have many arguments about things not happening fast enough. But that's kind of the way that I think. So I was like, let's team up now. Like, let's do it now. Let's do everything now. But
it's really good. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. It is a statement on its own. So yeah, when we were even thinking of rebranding, when we got together and we sort of like had this vision that we will be doing something together, and then you asked me if we wanted to change the name. I just like No, we just keep the name because it is a statement of its own, and yeah, it
Yeah,
works for both our clients and the people that we work with as well. So we team up now all together.
it's very memorable. Like people definitely remember who we are, which is
Yeah,
cool.
it's so easy. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So I'll tell my side of the story first, and then you can tell your side.
All right.
Had a client that needed a customer service agent for their business, and went on Upwork. So you and Hazel are like the stars that came from Upwork. There was probably 50 applicants. I think I probably looked at 15, 20 resumes based on like whittling it down. I think I interviewed 2 people. I think that was it. Maybe 3. And it was you, and there was someone that was like amazing at customer service. Like her background was great,
Mhm.
but there was something about your resume that really like drew me to you. And I think that was, I noticed that you'd had 5 years of running an outsourcing business.
Yeah, and I didn't use
And
AI, so I think that got me the job.
yeah,
Remember
you're
my cover
probably a
letter?
year before ChatGPT came out.
It wasn't AI.
It wasn't AI.
Yeah.
I think for me, when I looked at your resume, I was like, oh, she's so overqualified, which I think for a lot of people is a negative. Like I know that you
Mhm.
had, and you can go into your own story about this in a sec, but I know people think that overqualified people are going to disappear. And I think that's the wrong way to look at it, because
Mhm.
if you can give opportunity to overqualified people, then they will stay because you can give them what they deserve. And I think like I
Mhm.
always had that in my mind when I met you. I was like, yeah, I mean, I'll give you this role, but I can see that there's going to be more.
Mhm.
How did you see it?
I mean, I couldn't agree more, Joel. Yeah, when I actually applied for that job, it wasn't really my first, how can I say? It wasn't my,
First
um,
choice.
yeah, it wasn't my first choice. Yeah,
I
thanks.
know.
Yeah, I actually applied for another role. It was my first time to be applying for an Australian-based company. So I haven't dealt with Australian clients in the past. So I've always like wanted to be working either the US or the UK clients. So I actually applied for few different roles, mostly US based and UK based. And then I saw your job posting, Australia, and I was like, you know what? Yeah, why don't I give it a go? Because first of all, I love the time difference. So it's very close to Philippine time zone, and yeah, I mean, I've been working in the outsourcing industry for over a decade, and I've been working for US clients most of it. So, yeah, I'm working most during the night and sleep during the day, which isn't like a good thing to be doing like for long term. So, yeah, so I applied for that job. It was easy. Like you said, yeah, I might be
Good
overqualified for
boss.
that, but yeah, it was yeah, good boss. But it was what I needed during that time because I just delivered my first baby, and yeah, I need something that is not very stressful, something that I know like on top of my head, like I know how to do this even with eyes closed. So I'm very confident that I can do the job very well, and with less supervision and all that, so less stress for me. I love the time zone, and yeah, you agreed to pay me my salary rate, which is actually higher to what you guys should be paying. But yeah, I'm very thankful for you for accommodating that, even if you can actually save if you've hired the other applicant than me. But yeah, I'm so grateful.
Yep. Yep. So, I mean, from my side, you were the first non-bookkeeper that Team Up now hired. So until that time, it was just bookkeeping. And I think for me,
Hmm.
it was something that I was like, I'd love to do other things, but then, there wasn't opportunities. I didn't really know how to sell it. And
Hmm.
then you came along, started doing customer service. And then we grew the team to like 3, 4 people. doing customer service. So the business was kind of growing like between 2022, December 2022 to 24. Like the business just grew without really anyone doing anything. And you just went into this manager mode, but we never like had really spoken all that much or anything. And it was
Yeah, it
like,
wasn't formal.
yeah, it
It
wasn't
just
super
happened.
formal.
Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe we can fast forward to, the beginning of Team Up Now 2.0, which is what we call, the rebirth when you came on board as a co-founder. So, I mean, I think it was June 24. You got a message from me saying, "Hey, do you
Yeah.
want to come to
I
Australia?"
got an
Why don't you
invitation
tell me about that?
out of nowhere. Like, oh wow. I mean, I've been working with Julius for almost 2 years that time, but the relationship that we had was purely like work. It was transactional, I'd say, Jul, right?
Yeah,
And yeah, so when I got that invitation, I was really like surprised, like, oh wow, like yeah, I mean, why not? I'd love to. So yeah, fast yeah. So it seems like yesterday, Jewel, but yeah, on September 2024, I flew to Australia and met Julius in person for the first time.
yeah,
And yeah, for the first time we sat down, we talked about everything, not just work, not just as co-workers, but but as humans. So we talk about life, work, you know,
yeah,
um, burnouts, all these things, what wasn't working in the industry. And during this conversation, we sort of like realized that we wanted to be doing something that is impactful and meaningful. And so I think that conversation became the foundation of Team Up Now version 2.0. Right,
yeah.
Joel?
Yeah, exactly. I think, look, even when I interviewed you, like I said,
Mm-hmm.
I knew that there was more to it. Like I didn't think that it was just going to be that you were going to be a staff member. But I didn't really plan anything. Like obviously, I'd just finished up a role that I'd been working really hard for a long time, just before you came, and it just seemed to be like perfect timing that I was looking for something else to do. You were, Manu was 2.5 at that time. He was getting a little bit bigger and a little bit more self-sufficient to, not need you all the time, so you could do a little bit more work. So it kind of like everything just kind of lined up
Mm-hmm.
in terms of like, well, you've got the experience from one side, so obviously you've got the customer service, VAs, that type of experience. I had more finance, but I've also got an understanding of marketing. And that's kind of like where the business has gone. So what we sat down in September, the business looks very different today
Mm-hmm.
than potentially what we had kind of planned. But I feel that it's gone where it's supposed to go, right? Like we work with a lot of creative agencies, marketing agencies, solo entrepreneurs, e-commerce, recreation and gaming, across like customer service, VAs, digital marketing, SEO, graphic design, social media management, plus the bookkeeping. So the bookkeeping, the thing that started the business is probably one of the smallest parts of the business now, but it's just I think a lot of the story of Team Up Now, it only happened because it was supposed to happen. Like there was nothing really left up to chance in terms of the timing of me going full time into the business, you coming to Australia, and just the people that we've met along the way to get to where we are today. So it's very exciting. Like both of us kind of pinch ourselves. Like 9 months ago, while it was a business, it wasn't. Neither of us were full time, getting paid by it.
Yeah.
And these days, like it's our full-time thing, and we're both. It's like both of our baby in terms of like making sure that the things are going the way that we wanted to.
Yeah.
So we mentioned, you mentioned a little bit earlier about values, and it wasn't really something that you thought about with regards to when you first went into business.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when we sat down in September in Melbourne, like values was like pretty much 50% of the conversation, right?
Yeah.
Like, what do we see the outsourcing industry to look like, and what do we want it to look like? And I think, you know, we came up with some core values based on that. So I'm going to read them to you, and I want you to tell me what you feel when you hear each of these words. So the first one is teamwork and collaboration.
Yeah, teamwork and collaboration. So yeah, when we decided to do this thing with Team Up Now together this time, not just solo, solo person doing it all to ourselves. So yeah, teamwork and collaboration. We wanted to bring everyone in, so nobody is left behind. This works for both the clients and to our people. So this is like the very core of Team Up Now. So the word
Yeah.
itself.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I mean, it's human first.
Yeah.
It's human, not the process. So I
Yeah.
think this is us being human centered as a business.
Yeah.
So yeah,
What
that's
about,
my take on it. How about you?
I think for me, teamwork and collaboration, I think this is the biggest one. I mean, they're all big. But we definitely treat our team like they're equals. Like
Mm-hmm.
if you know, one of the Filipino things is calling their boss sir, and it drives me crazy because it's like the opposite of how I think. Like it really.
It's a cultural thing, Joel.
I understand that, but like Team Up Now, when like even though you and I are leading the business, like
Mm-hmm.
we don't want it to be seen as an us versus them. We want it to be very connected,
Yeah.
where anyone that has a say can have that say. And I think that type of sir thing, like it definitely takes that away. So it's something that like I drive out as much as possible. But I think that for me, it's like teamwork I see is just like everyone pitching in. And like we've got an example at the moment. There's a few roles that we're just trying to really fill.
Mm-hmm.
And you and I are helping Marion, who's our recruiter. And then we've got the whole team, the marketing, sales. Like everybody's doing what they can do to get something to happen. And for me, that's teamwork and collaboration. I think, big tick this week on that
Yep.
value.
Sure.
What about authenticity and presence?
Authenticity and presence. So this is us showing. This is us being in the present. Like when we do the things that we do, like when we show up, each and every single day to work. So we give our full presence into the work that we do, and yeah, we wanted not just us but also the people that we work with. We want them to be authentic, to be true to themselves. Like we don't want them to be pretending the person that they're not. So I think it is very it's very important, authenticity, because I think it that is what sets us apart from the rest as well. Because yeah,
Yeah,
especially nowadays, like you've mentioned earlier that about AI, about these people like using AI to create their resumes and all that, and all of them, like it looks like similar.
yeah,
So yeah, so if we stay authentic to ourselves, then it makes the work a lot easier, because we get to know the person very well. So we learn how to deal with them. We learn how to approach them, or what works for them and what doesn't work for them. So if they show up as their most authentic selves, then it gives us the opportunity to how to support them better, so they come the best version of themselves.
yeah, yeah. Look, I agree. I think authenticity is do what you say and say what you do, right? Like we can't be going out there and saying certain things about the industry or about other companies. Not that we single out anyone, but we can't say something more broadly about how staff are treated and then treat them the same way. For me, it's that type of stuff that really authenticity is. And then for presence, I think it's just, even though we have different roles and we have different things that we do, just being there, there for like our staff and making sure that we're not off in the clouds a little bit, just being part of it, making sure that again, it comes back to doing what you say and saying what you do for me as well for presence. It's like
It's walking the talk.
just being present around everyone. So that's how I see it. What about commitment to impact?
Commitment to impact. So yeah, that's one thing that we talked heavily about when we started Team Up Now version 2.0, because we just don't want to be, we wanted to build a business that is that has meaning. So yeah, commitment to impact. So yeah, I've had firsthand experience with traditional outsourcing setup, and that's why for Team Up Now we would like to build something that is ethical, and I will make sure that everyone who's working with us will not have to experience what I've experienced when I was freelancing. So we wanted to make sure that we're paying fair wages to our people, and we provide them with better opportunities in terms of career growth, and we want to make sure that we will be there, we will be supporting them along the way, so they become the best versions of themselves.
Yeah, and I think for me, commitment to impact, I definitely agree with everything you said, but I think it also, we have a motto that happy staff means happy clients, means we win at the end of the day. It's a win-win-win thing, right? So I think there's also the impact on the client side, so that we are actually providing something to our client that's meaningful and that they get value from. And I think, if you have that commitment to impact on both sides of that ledger, that's where it becomes really powerful, in us being able to do what we say we're going to do type thing, because have happy staff and happy clients.
Yeah, it's like a win-win for everyone. I mean, yeah, that's what I said. Like Team Up Now, it doesn't just work just for us, but for our clients as well and our people. So everybody wins. Yeah.
So last one is integrity and accountability.
Oh, integrity and accountability. So it's quite simple. It's actually doing the right thing, especially when nobody is watching. So yeah, that's it. Like, just do the right thing, even if it means it's hard. So just do it right.
Yeah, I think for me, that's integrity. I agree. I think accountability is more about just doing. Again, I think I always come back to it. It's like, if you say that you're going to do something and it's your responsibility to do it, then it either gets done and, that's great. Or if it's not, then it's like, okay, well, why, and going through that and just taking ownership of things. I think for me, accountability, like if you or I just was like, I can't be bothered turning up, then we can't expect our staff to. So it's being accountable for ourselves, which means that, our staff will also be accountable for themselves and, us as an overall with our business. I think if one of our staff members was messed up on a client, yes, it's their problem, but we're responsible for it. We hired them, etc. Responsible, not legally, but morally. So I think it's just being accountable for actions that are taken.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
Always turning up.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for anyone that's listened. We've got 9 episodes left this season. As I said, we're going to have some great guests. Our first guest next week is actually our producer, who's in the room, not on camera with Eiza at the moment, just giving her a chop out. Her name is Kola Paklaba from Creative Cubo. And we're going to be exploring some amazing things with her next week. So we'll leave it there. But thank you so much for if you have got through to the end, thank you so much for listening to our podcast.
Thank you so much, everyone. Thanks for being with us.